Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video, I'd like to discuss the vote in Westminster earlier this week, where MPs effectively voted to require non-Irish EU citizens to obtain travel clearance in advance if they want to travel between the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. Needless to say, this is unworkable on any practical level. Conservative MPs seem to know this. And it's legislation which, as far as I can see, only exists to deliberately stoke up tensions in Northern Ireland. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification icon. So it's the controversial Nationality and Borders bill. And I'll be discussing another aspect of it tomorrow. But for this one, there's a number of unacceptable clauses contained within it. And the House of Lords put in place a lot of amendments. And earlier this week, a few days ago, I think it was Tuesday, the House of Commons voted on them. And Tory MPs voted them all down one by one. And as I say, I'll be discussing another one of them tomorrow. But for this video, the amendment in question concerned travel between the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. Actually, the clause covers travel between the EU and the UK, and it's all fine. But it's only controversial where Ireland is concerned. It would mean that non-Irish EU citizens would need to get an electronic travel authorisation before they travel in order to be able to cross from the Republic of Ireland to Northern Ireland. And this is where Brexit ignorance becomes a problem, because the ignorance is pretty widespread in Britain. Even amongst those who are not in favour of Brexit, have no ill will towards anyone in Ireland, still don't really understand how it all works. But it didn't matter while we were still a member of the EU, because the Good Friday Agreement basically worked because we were in the same market and the same customs union, and it was all fine. And a lot of people will agree with what our bumbling former Brexit loudmouth David Frost had to say on something. So I don't know whether he was specifically talking about this, because there's a lot of Northern Ireland things been coming up recently, but he said, "I'm very intrigued by the number of replies to this tweet which deny that there are two states separated by an international border on the island of Ireland." But the thing is, the Good Friday Agreement, the cornerstone of the peace process in Northern Ireland, allows for just that. I've described it in the past as allowing someone in Northern Ireland who wants to be part of a completely unified Ireland to sort of squint their eyes and behave as if that's what they've got. You know, the Good Friday Agreement resulted in constitutional changes from both the Irish and the UK governments. On Ireland's part, they changed their constitution to accept that Northern Ireland was part of the UK. The UK legislated that Ireland would be reunified should a majority in both Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland want it. In addition, citizens of Northern Ireland can identify as either purely Irish, British, or both. Doesn't matter, your choice. The whole point of the Good Friday Agreement was to stop shoving in people's faces which bit of Ireland you were in. You're in Ireland. Do you know what? You're in Ireland. Yes, there are some little differences, but we don't have to worry too much about them if you don't want to. The UK also repealed the Act which partitioned Ireland some time before. This is what Frost seems to be missing. Yes, Northern Ireland is part of the UK. Yes, the rest of Ireland is a different state. Yes, normally this means they are separated by an international border. However, the settlement on Northern Ireland makes the situation there unique. It is inaccurate to claim that this is the simple case here. It is not separated by an international border of the sort that he is talking about and of the sort that would be normal around the world. It's a sort of weave of international separation, which you don't look at too closely, and intranational binds, which are much more in your face. So, for example, there are several institutions which were set up as a result of the agreement with representatives from both Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland to manage the situation. You know, and these cover common policy areas to ensure that the border remains completely invisible. Like, you can have someone fall ill on one side of the border and then die, and you get an ambulance from a hospital on the other. It's all sorted, all seamless, all sorts itself out. You know, the border is invisible and extremely porous. The whole idea is you can go for a wander around that border, not really care that there even is one. And correct me if I'm wrong, but pretty much the only difference you'll notice is being told that the speed limit has changed from kilometres per hour to miles per hour, or vice versa. So against this background, how can you actually require non-Irish EU citizens to get travel authorisations to move between the Republic and Northern Ireland? It would only be possible to even think that this can work if you knew nothing at all about Ireland or the Good Friday Agreement. I mean, what do people even think the border looks like? Do you know what the border looks like? Do you think it's a nice straight line, like with border posts along the routes? No. There's some parts it's a right old mess. There's one part where it's a loop. There's a loop. Look at it. You're driving along a road, the N54. You're in the Republic of Ireland. Then you pass into the UK and it becomes the A3. It's the same road. But now it's called something different. You don't care. It doesn't even tell you it's called something different. You just get told the new speed limit. Then you drive a bit further. It's the N54 again. Because you've passed back into the Republic of Ireland. You're driving along a single road. Back into Northern Ireland, it's the A3 again. Now, in that case, yeah, you arguably would know. You'd see the little post there. But that's if it means anything to you. Maybe you don't really understand what it all means. But there, in theory, is the sign telling you the new speed limit situation. But let's just say you're on a bit of a hike, or you've just gone out fishing or something, well away from the roads. No idea. You could be a Dutch visitor to the Republic of Ireland without any intention of ever passing into Northern. As far as you're concerned, you're going to a place in the Republic of Ireland. It's in the EU. No problem. Just going to travel there. Go via France. It's no problem at all. And you don't realise that you're ever going to potentially accidentally wander across into Northern Ireland and back again. And you could at this point suggest that a non-Irish visitor could fall foul of the law quite by accident. Even if they were aware, in theory, of the scheme, if they needed to go into Northern Ireland, they just think, well, I'm in the Republic of Ireland. Nothing has told them otherwise. They don't have a big sign going, if you go any further in a different country. So you don't need to get the authorisation as far as they're concerned, but then they accidentally end up in Northern Ireland. And how do the Home Office imagine that they will enforce such provision when Northern Ireland is concerned? There's no physical border controls inside Ireland. Again, part of the Good Friday Agreement. More to the point, the UK government have made it clear, and in this case, in a way that you believe, they're never going to erect physical infrastructure. So how are you going to do it? Are we going to have police officers checking people's documents in shops near the border? They sound a bit foreign. Should we go and check their documents? Or doing likewise with people fishing in rivers around the border? No, it's nonsense. And remember that the reason the House of Lords amended this part of the bill, they only amended it not to get rid of the old... The general provision was fine. It was purely to exclude Northern Ireland from it, not to remove the legislation. This wasn't really one of the horrible bits of legislation in the bill. It was just to remove Northern Ireland. It was basically them saying, look, you can't make this work. Just leave it out. And Tory MPs voted this week to overturn that suggestion. And there was a Tory MP I saw trying to counter. He said that exempting Ireland would result in an unacceptable gap in UK border security, before then going on to say that there would be no controls in place at all inside Ireland. How do those things match up? This is like putting a sign on an open door saying, don't come in. If it's talking about an unacceptable gap in UK security, what are you talking about with UK security here? You're not bothered about innocent travellers. They're not a threat to UK security. You're concerned about criminals, aren't you? That's what you're concerned about when you talk about security. Criminals. People who are up to no good. What sort of criminal is going to give a toss about a law that you are being very clear that you will not enforce? Are Tory MPs getting thicker, or do they just think their voters are? It's impossible to enforce, and the Tories have said that they've no intention of enforcing it. So now you have to ask yourself, so why would the Conservative leadership tell their MPs to vote for something that they neither understand nor really care about, and that is completely unenforceable? If MPs are voting for something that can't possibly be put into practice, then it can only be a vote for political purposes. So in the introduction, I said that I view this as probably being a deliberate attempt to stoke up tensions in Northern Ireland. To what purpose, you may ask? Well, a couple of thoughts, really. The first is it may not serve any practical purpose. It may just be spiteful Brexiteers lashing out because they're not getting their unicorns. But the second is the potential to create divisive distractions. It's fairly clear now that Boris Johnson is going to lurch from scandal to scandal as Prime Minister. They will never stop because he has nothing but contempt for the law, for his people, for his country, for the norms of society. You know, he's his own person, he's his own thing. You know, this means he will constantly be attracting the strongest criticism because he completely refuses to conform on any level. But we've also seen that various crises cover these scandals up for a while. He gets into trouble for a thing, then something more serious happens. And if that something more serious isn't directly his fault, he sort of gets away with it for a while. At the moment, Partygate, a lot of people have forgotten about it because of the Ukraine. No one blames Boris Johnson for Russia invading Ukraine. So he's getting a bit of a pass at the moment. And the best crisis of all is one that allows him to push his divisive Brexit agenda because it's all he's got now. All he's got. The levelling up, not happening. He's not doing any form of governing. Nothing's happening. All he's got is Brexit. He won power by feeding populistic tribalism. He will want to miss no opportunity to do so again. This move could just be designed to create a distraction for the future to get people to divide themselves along the old Brexit battle lines again. If there is a danger of, say, the Daily Mail or the Express or the Sun reporting on his latest indiscretions, he can feed them stories defending the re-emergence of a border, albeit an uncontrolled one, inside Ireland. And given that most people in Britain, to say nothing of MPs in his party, don't actually understand Northern Ireland or any part of it or anything to do with the border, it will be an easy one to distract them with because you'll get people going, well, the UK is different to the Republic of Ireland. What's the big deal? I don't see the issue. Irish citizens can still pass between them, no problem. We're only saying that French, Belgian and Dutch ones have to get this travel authorisation. Is it really that big a deal? Without really understanding the mechanics. But those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Hope you found the video interesting. If you did, don't forget to click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, please also click the Patreon link for details. And until next time, I'll see you later.